Hi fam, I am Chef Leah Delight DiBernardo. Welcome to At the Table, our new weekly podcast where we invite thought-provoking guests to gather around the table to talk about good food, community, and everything in between. My pup Remy and I are happy you're here. Hey fam, welcome back to the table. I'm Chef Leah Delight. And I'm laughing right off the top of the show because Remy the Poodle is sharking our fantastic guest, Chef Christina Ng. And that is really not how I want to start. So we're going to back up. Remy, it's not all about you. It's all about Chef. Have you ever wondered what makes a dish truly unforgettable? It's not just about the ingredients. It's about the journey they take. Today, we're following a local chef and educator who's redefining, I think she's redefining, no, I don't just think, she is redefining farm to table, revealing the story behind every bite and how a deep connection to the land can transform the way we eat, Chef, right?
100%.
Cook and teach. So, Chef Christina Ng, welcome to the table.
Stoked to be here. Can't even believe I'm here. Remy's here, you're here, we're all here.
And coffee's here.
Coffee, thank goodness.
And coffee's
here.
right here in my mouth, everybody.
Cheers to that. Coffee is here.
That's right. Going to get all like ramped up. So it's really awesome that you're here because we have been in and out of one another's lives for the past what?
I'm gonna go with almost a decade.
I think,
almost a decade.
If not a little longer.
Through.
Yeah,
if not a little longer, you're totally right.
Right?
Yeah, a mile a minute.
A mile a minute, right? So chefs know chefs, but I want you to tell our audience like what you do with Slow Food, what you do with the Berry Foundation, and you're based in San Diego.
I am. I sure am.
So share.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess my world, my work and my world are in San Diego, yeah, but they came by way of San Francisco. That's where I was born. I went to Davis. I studied food science. So food has always been a part of my blood, if you will.
Okay, I didn't know that. I feel like I should have known that.
Oh, I mean, I get that sense that right off the bat, knowing that kind of food IQ between us and what we shared, a decade plus ago. Yeah. And that all came from having just a good food background from the city. And I miss it. But 14 years ago, I made the crappiest decision of my life for a personal relationship. And it is actually what kept me here in San Diego to be where I am now.
Okay, so San Francisco, Davis Food Science to San Diego.
For the crappiest relationship of my life.
For the crappiest
that's the one.
Relationship
that's
of
the
your
one.
Life. But that ended up being a beautiful relationship with what you get to do with food.
Absolutely. It was unbelievable. I'm not sure, what powers that be that you believe in, the universe, a God, Allah, any of all of the above. Believe in who you want to believe. I believe in all of them combined, that I was in a crappy relationship, found the power to get out of it, and by happenstance was invited, because I was single, to replace my friend at a very special dinner that was held by a mutual friend of ours. And that's where it all started.
So is that the Berry?
That is it. That's the one.
Can you tell us about the Berry Good Foundation? Is that the name now? The Berry Good Foundation?
It is, yeah. So the Berry Good Food Foundation, absolutely, and that's where it all started. It started
Berry Good Food Foundation, not
Berry Good Food Foundation. Did I get it?
Yeah,
I think I got it. Did I get all?
I think we got it, Chef.
I completed the acronym. Oh my God. Very much like what we're doing here. It started with a table and people that give a damn.
Right. And so Michelle LaRocque. And then her husband, Bill.
That's right. Yep.
What's Bill's last name?
He's LaRocque.
Oh, they're both LaRocque.
They're both LaRocques. Yep.
But, Michelle Cicerelli.
That's right.
Am I saying it right?
That's it.
Hi, Michelle.
Yeah.
So that's that Italian Sicilian.
It sure is.
In her. Oh my gosh, I knew I loved her so much.
And that's how it started, right?
Right. So it did. So this started, oh my gosh. So in the early 2000s.
That's it. Yeah.
And so Michelle and Bill started this foundation called the Berry Good Dinner. And it was to really bring chefs and politicians and teachers and community to the table to support small farmers. I believe that's like how it started, right?
And I think, farmers, I think you named them all. Farmers, food justice activists, chefs, anyone who had skin in the game in food, right? But maybe was separated by silos, separated by the wall of their kitchen, separated by the wall of their office, but not at the dinner table she threw. And that was a big ass dinner table.
That was a big ass dinner table. It was amazing to do those. I think of some of the chefs that I've got to cook alongside and to just be at that table. It's been a whirlwind.
It has.
For sure. But now the Very Good dinners went into the Very Good Foundation, and you're a part of that.
I am.
So can you tell us a little bit about the foundation? Because I know that you support school gardens, the foundation supports education, because in my mind, in my world, it's really important to support that generation, right? Because if you teach them young, you get them young.
Get them in early. That's it.
Right? So what's your favorite thing about what you get to do with the foundation?
Oh my gosh. I think, so officially with the foundation, I'm coming into my 6th year as, a contractor there. And I guess the long-winded name is Programs and Development Manager. Okay. But what that really means is I get to be at the table. I get to be in the garden. I get to be in the kitchen with the next generation of leaders. Because I wish I could live forever. Actually, not really. I know I'm not going to. But, we need people. We need people to lead.
If we drink enough of this coffee, we might just.
We just might. My cup's looking pretty empty. I'm going to keep going on it.
All right.
But okay. I just think the most special part for me is like just downright knowing if at all possible, I get to leave a legacy.
Absolutely.
I think in the kitchen, right?
You can do that through food.
Yeah. The cliche is you're only as good as your best dish. But what if you drop this like insane piece of knowledge on a kid?
Yeah.
And it stays with them for life. And that's what I get to do. I get to drop knowledge. And I love it. I couldn't be happier. Knowledge bombs, delicious, flavorful knowledge bombs. That's what I get to do.
That's beautiful. I love that. What's one of the schools that you work with in San Diego?
So one of my favorites is I get to work with a school out in East County, actually. It's called W.D. Hall Elementary. Near and dear to my heart, because East County, well, a lot of San Diego County, I don't have to tell you this, has been so agricultural forward as far as profession. But does the landscape look like that anymore? Here or there? Not really.
No, but if I'm correct, San Diego has the most small farms in the nation, right? Like San Diego County.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, in the state, but then if you combine Riverside and San Diego, there's more small farmers than anywhere else in the U.S.
In the whole U.S., right?
Right.
And I feel like that's like a super great thing that you and I know about, but I would love our youth to know about that.
Oh, yeah, our kids.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's worth supporting California, knowing that we're the third largest economy in the world.
That's it.
But aren't we the 3rd largest producer of food in the world?
We are.
Is that the right stat?
Yeah. And let alone, and with that stat, providing our, fellow states something somewhere in the lines of like, 75%, 80% of their produce, their fresh produce
comes from California. So let's turn on the love for California. Mm-hmm. Just like a little evil chef like crawling in here to talk about that right now.
That's it.
So let's talk about, we're on inspiration. So I'm inspired by what you're doing with children, right? Teachers and people who give their time for anyone means so much to me because it's so selfless. And I'm curious what inspired you like in food and what inspired you then to take your knowledge of food and what you love to do as a chef to these kids.
Yeah, I got to say, like, I definitely spent my time on the early beginnings glued to the Food Network. My favorite, I'll never forget it, was, Mrs. Fields' cookies. Like Debbie Fields had her own cookie, making show in the very early days. I sent my self-addressed stamped envelope to get that amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe. But that's what I grew up on. I grew up on Martin Yan on PBS, who happens to be a Davis alumni too, and knowing that, food could cross over with learning, could cross over with just personality. Not it was totally not boring. I was glued to it. And I knew early on, oh my God, could I do this thing? And Miss Ballard, my kindergarten teacher, from Equal Elementary in San Francisco will tell you that I told her I wanted to be a teacher. And I think it just all the powers combined,
Freaking teachers.
Right. They just, it's the unspeakable energy and inspiration they bring out. And she was the one in kindergarten.
100%. So I'm just going to say for me, Miss Parker, my first grade teacher. And if she's still around, oh my gosh, what an inspiration she was to me as a little. And then, that whole I'm going to hit puberty and I don't know what to do with myself when I'm 12. Miss Moore.
Oh,
yeah. She's like, Miss DiBernardo, you were in the back of the class and I put you in the back of the class because you're so loud. And I was hoping that I wouldn't constantly catch you chatting, but I can hear you all the way up here. She's like, that can either serve you in this life or not serve you.
Yeah, real talk.
And right?
Real
At
talk.
12.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me to this day. And she was always kind, mind you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But she laid it out.
At 12.
At 12. Freaking 12 years old. That's okay. So I love that that's your inspiration and that's how everyone has such a different story about how we got into food.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And as a career.
And I feel like too, food is one of those things, though it may change as we all evolve, the styles, the trends, the chefs, the people, it still really is the one thing everybody does. They say on average 3 to 5 times a day. For us culinarians and gastronomes,
sure,
it's probably 10. But
I mean, cooking, always
cooking
having
and
our
food.
hands in food.
Yeah, cooking and food.
Damn, my hands were in food before I came here this morning. Absolutely. Yeah. Popped by the kitchen real quick, checked in with the bakers, had a little chat.
And I got to say, my path to education really is one, I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm going to call it selfish. I have had the privilege to look at amazing business owners / how many hats do you think you wear in a day?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a business owner, you're a chef, you're a mom.
Dozens.
You're dozens, right? Yeah. Dozens. And I knew that being a chef was going to be that if I went down and I kept down just the strict hospitality route without the learning piece. I didn't know if that was right for me. And I think, moving forward, again, deciding what was best for me, I felt like the learning space was it. And I transitioned probably 2 years ago into that fully. And I never looked back.
What I think is interesting about you, what's lovely about you is that something was planted in you like so much deeper, like this belief that food has the power to educate and connect and sustain.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
Totally.
Right. And then the next thing, I just have to say this to all of our moms out there, our single moms, our not single moms, our work moms.
Yeah.
Right. Our school moms.
Yeah.
Hats off to you. Each and every one of you, because you wear a lot of hats and females wear hats differently than guys do.
I agree.
And I think that that's totally fine and it's fair. Right. And, it's interesting to be a woman in the kitchen.
Very much so.
And I have so many of my friends that are like, God, I hate it when people as a chef, my female friends that are chefs, I don't title myself a female chef. I'm I don't either. A chef's a chef.
Right.
I give a shit
Absolutely.
about that. Right.
Absolutely.
But, as a woman in the kitchen, especially a woman who started cooking in kitchens when I was 15 in the 80s and realized, I just knew I had a passion for food.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, well, you should do that. You should follow that. I was either that or being an attorney.
Oh God.
I really was thinking at that
was a
age,
dichotomy?
right?
My goodness.
Right? Because
Whoa.
I've always I advocacy. I just noticed at a young age, I was always standing up for people, but I digress. So being in the kitchen at that age, it was so clear to me. I'm like, this is abusive. This is dangerous. It's abusive. It is not fun. And I literally took the hardest left possible. I'm like, I want nothing to do with food outside of cooking with my family and being at home. I'm not going to do it professionally. So I'm curious what your take is and it was because of that. It was being a female in the kitchen in the 80s and the 90s, man, that was hard.
Oh, and thank goodness for people like you to pave the way for what it is today. I mean, truly.
Right back at you.
Anyone who was cooking in kitchens in the 80s, 90s, chef culture, Yeah, exactly. No words, just the eye roll.
I
Just eye roll.
I did an eye roll just so everybody knows my eyebrows went
I
up a little.
mean, it is completely different. It's a completely different landscape, and it couldn't have happened as we know without people, stepping up and saying this isn't right.
No, it's not right. And I'm sure you, like, we chatted about this a little bit. Like, there's this whole thing that I constantly hear from others that I know, like about me or about other chefs that are female. Why are you so loud? Like, why are you so abrasive? Why are you so blunt? Why do you have to talk about that all the time? Why do you? It's like, oh, okay. So we can't have an opinion and be direct and be blunt. I don't think you could run a kitchen any other way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you. And I mean, in any, strong, powerful environment, a kitchen happens to be one of them. But, had you gone down the law route, you would have had to be the same kind of loud, probably louder.
Right.
Louder. I mean, it's an environment that requires confidence and loud and being loud. And, sometimes depending on how, people grew up, that's not the status quo for them. And it seems loud.
It's not even, it's funny because we use that word so loosely. It's not even being loud, like in voice.
Right.
It's just even your presence.
Totally.
And
totally.
I think holding space for one another is important. Like, we're all different. I mean, come on, y'all.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And I think the space that we hold, if at all possible, if we can just leave it to be an open space without expectation. And I think that's how I feel about you. We've known each other, and I feel like we've passed in the wind over all the years. But I know that deep down, I mean, I'm going to switch out loud for just, having a lot of integrity. You've been the same exact person through and through. And I think that speaks loudly versus being physically loud or perceived as loud.
That's like a bumper sticker,
right?
I just want to get up and kiss your whole face.
Stamp it.
Like that's just like truth bombs left and right. With chefs at the table, it's the best thing ever.
I will say though, after a while, and I'm sure you've noticed, throughout your career, it's because, and we spoke about this earlier, time is limited. So the people and the environments I want to be in, I better sure as hell have a sixth sense to sense who is integral and who is built, who has, who has those same qualities about them. So, I mean, essentially selfish as it sounds, so I'm not wasting my time. So I'm here, driven, bought in 100% with who I'm working with.
Yeah, no, it is. It's so true. Right. And that's so fair to just say, you know what? The one thing I can't get back is time.
Yeah.
I can't get back time.
No, you can't.
So who am I surrounding myself with? Like, I give a lot of time to a lot of different organizations and people, but when it comes to the table and like those intimate moments, I am so selective.
As you should be.
Right.
As you should. That is.
Do you find that now?
You know what? As I get older, yes. And I think that is a high form of self-care, is that choice. And I know this is a tough one for all of us hospitality people, but the no.
Learning to say no.
Learning to say no.
Right? Because I'm going to be the first to just share. I don't want, this is past, this is in my head. I don't want that person to not like me, so I'm just going to say yes. I want to please them, right? It's just a thing. We do it as human beings.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be liked, we want to be appreciated. And I'd be full of it if I said otherwise. But as we do grow, I completely agree with you. And even age and wisdom. Like, I am in my late 50s now, and we were just talking about like, oh man, like it was so fun. Like when we were we were talking about the 80s with a couple of people. I'm like, and then we all stopped and went, yeah, man, but I would not go back. No way.
Right?
I wouldn't trade this.
Right.
And it's because we value ourselves more.
Totally.
And for like the younger audience out there, like I have some young employees, right? And God bless them. And it's one of them said to me, because we were talking through some stuff. And they're like, yeah, chef, but you have emotional intelligence. I don't quite have that yet. You have 30 years on me to like have the wisdom. And I stopped and I went, damn, that's a thing. And I respect that. And I can't expect you to know this, this, and this, or to feel differently, or to be able to unravel everything we're talking about and be present to this conversation if you don't have maybe the wisdom I've had from living on the planet and blowing up situations and being an ass and then apologizing and then not apologizing and then showing up and then, all the things.
All the things. And they all, I mean, really that emotional intelligence piece, it really like that should belong on your resume forefront as powerful as all your years of, being on the line and all that. But I mean, really good on that young employee to just even 100%. Acknowledge, right? Like, and I think that's the piece of food that I love the most is, it will always be visceral and emotional. And I think that's why folks like us are just drawn to it, because we love that part of it. The anger, the sadness, the best moments of people's lives we've gotten to be a part of,
Totally. So I just want to say, let's just have a little bit more forgiveness for one another. You don't have to fully like your neighbor or your fellow business person, right? Or employee or whatever, right. Fellow crew member. But you can still hold space for the fact that they're a human. We make errors and we can still be kind to one another. That's Absolutely. It. That's great. I got so much out of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of geeking out right now.
Oh my God. I got to say, I really didn't know what to expect based on, our conversation. I knew we would just be, I'm going to just read it right off your laptop. I knew we're going to do dope shit. But I do, acknowledging that emotional side. I just want to say, I think, and, to tie that into learning, right? It is something that stays with you all of your life. And I always reference the movie Inside Out, where They have those little balls of all of your little memories that lead up to you being you. And I just think as chefs, we have this superpower because we not only have the memories, but we have a dish or a garnish or a dressing or something tied with that. Yeah. And it makes it that much stronger. It's not just a thought. It's a feeling, a taste, a texture.
I had to leave a little pregnant pause there because that needed to be heard.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to totally switch this up.
Let's do it.
We're going to talk about the alchemy of the kitchen, right? Ooh. So you've cooked professionally for 2 decades.
That's it.
Nearly 2 decades. Damn, girl, because you look like you're still in your 20s. Close up, please. Yeah, she's like, thank you. How does it feel to see ingredients come full circle, from the garden to the kitchen?
Yeah, in San Francisco, and maybe just, again, my time in the universe, it just wasn't right when I was there. Clearly, there's a huge farm to table movement and farm to table understanding, thanks to, pioneers like Alice Waters.
Hats off, Alice.
Yeah, hats off. I think, moving down to San Diego some 14 years ago, really put me right in the field with people and, with the people growing my food. And I think all of a sudden, not only was it about the food, but it was holy crap, a human produced this, another genuine human being who then it was delivered by a human being, cooked by a human being.
Yeah.
And I never got that sense of all the stops on the food chain attached to a human before. And that's what San Diego gave me.
But it's also what your experiences gave you. I mean, let's just freaking unwrap this right now. Unpack this.
Yeah.
It is so important. I got asked yesterday, we were doing a little interview and they asked me what's your inspiration? What was your inspiration for starting Eat? And I thought, it's like when people ask you, when journalists ask you, or, what's your favorite dish? What's your dish you make? I'm like, I can't answer that, man, because this morning it's fucking oatmeal.
Right.
Right. So let's just go there. Right. But one of my inspirations for starting the Eat is just that, chef. It's you don't know who's growing your food. You don't know the face behind your food. You don't know who's picking your food, who's putting in the truck, who's then driving it up to your restaurant, who's then unloading it, who's then cleaning it, prepping it, cooking it, and then bringing it out to you. There's so many layers. And I don't feel that you can cook without knowing all that. I'm just saying, I'm so judgy. I don't think you have a right to put a chef title on your jacket or your shirt or whatever it is, or your hat, if you don't know the farmer, if you don't have any sensibility about the soil and what nutrient density does to your food that you cook that heals your guests, right? Because it's either going to heal you or tear you apart, one or the other. You're going to end up in the hospital. You're going to pay the chef or the farmer, right?
Yep,
Excuse me. Are you going to pay the hospital or the farmer? I got that one all wrong. I backed it up.
You backed it up.
But it's the same. And I love that we have this connection, because I don't think that there's any person better to be teaching the next generation than you, because you understand that connection. Our farmers are everything.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
I will give you a pause right there. And it really is true. You've seen the green bumper sticker, right? No farms, no food.
Yeah.
Period. Plain and simple, right? And so, I think the work that I get to do with Very Good Food, I know the work I get to do with Very Good Food is, integral, because truly, who will be the next farmer? I think what it was the average age now, the average age of a farmer now, and I may be quoting it wrong, it's got to be somewhere in between 65 and 80 years old, which is retirement age.
Wow. So it's gone up.
Yeah.
Because I remember the stat working with Laura and Scott Murray, right? And we used to talk about that all the time. Edge of Urban Farms, by the way, quick shout
Love
out.
them.
San Diego County, amazing humans, right? And it was 58, 59. So now it's gone up. That's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Right. And I think,
because there's a high suicide rate amongst older farmers, especially our Midwest farmers, because they get locked into government subsidies, right, to grow certain crops. And then from what I'm hearing right now, like with all the monies that are being pulled from, federally, we're having a crisis in the Midwest with farmers. Do you know anything about that? Or
I don't know a whole lot, but I do know that government subsidies have been the name of the game for big farms for a very long time.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden with, a lot of movement with federal grant aid to farms, movement with tariffs, there are all of a sudden, limited markets for food that has been subsidized, and there's just nowhere to go and no money to be had. No money to be had.
God, it's just so crazy to me, because I think about, okay, well, we do, because when we started this, 25 years ago, the whole organic slow food movement, like with a lot of us, and it was hard in the beginning. So many people would tease me, clients, to be like, oh, organic, don't panic, it's Chef Leah. I'm like, okay, well, whatever, that's fine. But I do believe in it because of this, right? But now we're seeing it really shift where people ask, I'm like, hi, are there seed oils? Is your food organic? What do you mean by organic? Well, is it also regenerative? Is it pasture raised? And And you're like, oh, okay, wow. I am seeing a huge tribe of humans really gravitate to, I call it the good food movement.
Yeah. I see the same. And I see the same when, at our dinners, at our events, which super proud to be a part of at Very Good Food, where people are coming in informed and hungry, like literally hungry, but also hungry for the knowledge and, figuring out. And words become buzzwords, but then seeing in conversation how people are just down to they want to dig deep. They want to know more.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So speaking of just beautiful and the whole good food movement, and this just popped into my head, and I'm so weird. That thing just popped into my head.
Pop away.
What do you geek out about in the kitchen anymore? Like when I get a perfect summer tomato, I do it takes me back to my daddy. It takes me back to olive oil, salt, what is that item for you as a chef? Like, do you have that?
One of the most visceral early food memories for me, and my parents will never let me forget it, was going to a sushi bar called Kabuto on Geary Street in San Francisco. And they put me up on the bar. They had their sake and their, sashimi laid out. But at 3 years old, I was like, awesome. What is that? And I was handed a piece of maguro sashimi. Oh my God, you were three. 3 at the sushi bar. And now I have the distinct privilege of, being in a coastal town where local seafood comes in, and I get that same ratatouille food moment about tuna sashimi. And so that's the one for me, I think.
Snaps for that. It's this kind of respect for ingredients, like for farmers, for the planet. I think that turns cooking into something close to art.
Absolutely.
That's our art, right?
Yeah, it really is. And the different ways and the different perceptions where you said tomato, I say tomato, you said tuna, I said tuna. Everybody has their moment and but the second, I express the moment, you gave me the head nod like, yep, I know what's up. You know what's up. And it's like the secret, it's like our secret, I don't know, our code of conduct that drives us.
Right.
Right. So it's like, I know, she knows, she's in.
Yeah.
But
it all comes from this place of being young. You were 3.
3.
So that's like family. I mean, that's like at the table. Even if you guys were out, that was your space, your time eating. It's interesting that some of our most profound moments of our life and our memories and then how we behave come from being around the table.
Oh, yeah. It was most definitely a big part of my life. My grandfather, my paternal grandfather, he was single. Let's see. After they had my dad, they divorced probably in their early 30s. And then, he lived to be, I think, like 89 or so. But he was, we called him the serial bachelor. And being the serial bachelor of that age, he didn't cook. So he gave us the gift as a family to sit around a table and eat at a restaurant and try new cuisine. So we'd be at Japanese restaurants. We'd be at this special, very regional Chinese restaurant in San Francisco. But again, I love that you mentioned just being around a table and being accepted and feeling those feelings of positivity while consuming good food.
Right.
I mean, that's the stuff.
It is the stuff. And it's so important that we hold on to that, right? Like we hold on to these memories and we allow them to shape us.
Absolutely. And I think it is more than ever the most important time to create physical table space for folks. Make a longer table, bring up more chairs, because I really do feel, and I'm sure you feel it too at your restaurant, people are looking for it. They're in need.
Oh, 100%. It's authenticity, it's engagement, in a time, and I don't care what anyone's political preferences, but in interesting times, right? Politically, I see people really coming together when all I hear on social media and the news, and I'm not on a lot.
I'm not either. I'm not the one to talk to.
Considering how little I'm on and I'm still seeing it, right, and feeling it. I see people really engaging and loving on one another, but all I hear about how apart everyone is. And it's this side against that side. And I want to feel and really trust in that. I'm sorry. I think that is a script to keep people divided. Because the people that I see at my restaurant, and I mean, I see a lot of people,
sure
right? And then I teach part-time. So then there's that whole world.
Right.
People want to be together.
They do.
They want to engage.
They do.
And I love that. Restaurants do that. Food does that, man. It's like, and I love that you said, bring up more chairs, build a longer table, because so much happens at the table. That's why the Berry Good Foundation started, right? The Berry Good Foundation came out of the Berry Good dinners.
Right.
And it was all in a quest to bring people together, to learn more about one another and to hold more space for each other.
I'm actually, I don't know if she knew it at the time. When Michelle first started the dinners.
What the frick we're doing when we start. Yeah.
But setting up the table and just knowing that even then, right, 15 years ago, that people couldn't hide behind their phones. People couldn't put up a mat, there was no place to hide, right? At a table and a meal and a whole lot of drinks. People didn't have anywhere to hide. And that, by not being in a silo, they could be their genuine selves. And she knew that. And it happened.
She totally did. And it's so cool. Like I didn't even mean for this to happen, but this is where the conversation's going because, hey, we're at the table, right? But like it starts with so many wonderful, great women. Like I think of Julia Childs, right? I think of Alice Waters often. You know, like we've had the pleasure of being able to work with her and understand like really what do school gardens do for communities, right? Because she cracked that wide open and what it means to have your farmer come right to your restaurant and deliver food. And not only what does that do for a chef and their chef's art, but what that does for your community and what it does to the people you serve. So, and then it's like Michelle Larocque, and then it's you, and then it's me, and it's like all these amazing, Flor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Another chef.
Chef
like
Flor Franco, absolutely.
Flor Franco, and there's so many wonderful women in food, and I think it's okay to celebrate that.
Oh, more than okay. I
right?
mean, hats off. Hats off, pop the champagne.
Pop the champagne, and
truly.
And then to recognize what this sect of people have done for our food system. And I love that that's right here. It's in Riverside County. It's in San Diego County. And part of, I want to talk a little bit more about what you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Of course, we could just sit here and chat about food and we geek out on things, but I want people who are listening to know where they can go to find you, how can they get more involved, and what are some of the needs? Because as a community, it's not about just coming to the table, but when we do, like, what can we offer one another? How can we help lift you up?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I like to share with anyone who's new to Very Good Food is just be curious. Be curious about your food, and right off the bat, ask questions. Go to a farmer's market, get to know that human that is growing your food. And if you're a parent out there, we hold a annual school garden grant, and it's called Seeds for the Future. We like to plant seeds for the future in our schools. And it comes in the form of many things. It could be, let's build a whole new garden from scratch. It could be, we had a parent move on and we just need someone to champion this thing. So
okay, cool. So Seeds of the Future, people can give money.
They can.
And they can give their time, and that helps this foundation.
Yeah. It helps us, what we say, grow a food movement. So what it does is it does.
For the littles.
For the littles. And, quite honestly, in the process, everybody in the community, right? A school, we don't often think about it as a gathering hub. There are potentially thousands, right? At a high school, I think high schools are like 2,000 kids sometimes,
Holy cow, you're right.
And really, like when we talk about like wanting to make impact and wanting to, grow a food movement, what better way than to just have something simple as a garden bed with a tomato growing on it? You don't see that every day at a high school. Well, why shouldn't we?
Yeah, but no, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir, right?
Love
and
it.
Hopefully we're preaching to all of you on that. It's like, I look at Temecula Valley High School and Megan Mannion. Have you met Megan?
I have.
Megan's
fabulous work.
She's so rad.
So rad.
So she started the regenerative education systems program there at Temecula Valley High School. And all of that means is they have a regenerative farm, 5 acres.
Killer.
At Temecula Valley High School, y'all. So if you're in Temecula and you can drive by the high school, please look at that higher lot. You'll see beautiful trees. Like they have stone fruit trees up there. They have olive trees. They have some vines going. They have some row crops, I believe.
So good. Yeah.
Right. And this is all in an effort to do exactly what you're doing, right? Here's another woman. Oh my gosh. Right. Here's another woman who's like food system.
Yeah.
We have to educate the next generation. And how do we do that? We educate them and we bring them into this space by getting their hands in the dirt.
That's it. All it takes, even from just a microscopic level, your hands in that soil opens up just personal happiness, let alone, what you can physically grow in a garden. Hats off to Megan too. I just think finding ways to just not only do the work, but make people excited about the work. Yeah. We should be excited about our work.
Yeah. It's just having your heart in it. And I know I digressed by sharing this right now, but you know my daughter, Gabrielle, Gigi, right?
I do.
So Gigi is running Hello, You're Welcome in Pasadena.
Rockstar.
So Hello, You're Welcome was kind of failing when she took it over. And she had just graduated from Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are talking about another woman in food real quick. And so it's been, my goodness, about a year and a half.
Wow.
And she took a $400 Monday to $1,200.
Oh.
Now I'm going somewhere with this. Hold space for me, Chef.
I'm ready.
And then she took $1,200 Saturday to almost $3,000. All right. And in the past 6 months, she's been hearing a lot from her friends. Well, are you happy just being a barista? Are you content with just working with your mom? Right. And of course, G and I have a great relationship.
Yeah.
And we love working together. I'm always concerned as a mom. I'm like, hey, this, this is where she graduated from. She's so brilliant. She should be doing this. But I also know in moments in time, it's okay to be doing different things, right? Because it grows something else out of you. But the whole point of this is like we have this impression of people and where they should be and what they should be doing. And we don't stop to think, who at 23 years old, and I just thought about this. I'm like, and I think about Megan, I think about you, I think about how Alice Waters started, oh my gosh, even Julia Childs, right? With so much negativity and people trying to hold them down. And it's like, okay, well, just think for a minute that who the hell could do that at that age? You can't just turn a company around. I was thinking about it last night because we have these moments like as women and we have so much that we feel is expected of us, right? I don't know why, but we do. And I don't think for one moment that we ever say that to someone. Like, are you just okay? Are you okay? Did you really think about you're just doing this?
Right.
It's like, no, listen, I want to just... Yeah, I just so badly want to say, listen, mother. It's like, stop and think about what you're asking.
Yeah.
And that brings me just full circle to all the work that so many of us are doing, what you're doing. And I need you to not stop doing what you're doing because you do more than most people do. I know this because you invited me to come cook for an event. And thank you so much for that. Right. That was so rad. All the chefs were so cool. I had so much fun. I love cooking with fellow chefs, right? But you then run that. You then get the invites out. You then bring everyone together and you bring like events for hundreds and hundreds of people. So you can talk more about the movement. You can talk about how important food is. Yes, you're doing this in conjunction with others in a foundation, but like I watched you at that last event. I watched you like you knew who needed the plates, who needed water, who needed electricity. I was like, damn, man, like that's some work, but you're doing it like Gigi's doing it, like Michelle's doing it, like Alice did it, right? Like Julia did it for a love of something beautiful. Yeah, sure. But like right now, this is about you.
Thank you. And it's interesting when you're like, I don't know why I am. And I feel the same. You're just like, it's just in you because you know it's the right thing to do. And you know that like all the times you've ever done it before, you were just leveling up every single time. And so when I saw you that day, even though it was in a whiz, trying to find electricity, dropping plates, busting these people's dishes, like, I just think it's such a cool thing. Like when all of the things you've been working for all culminate into just you being like fucking good at your craft.
Right?
Like just innately.
Yeah. And I need Gigi to hear that too. I need all young women who are just like struggling with where they're at right now, but still kind of love what they're doing, but maybe aren't sure. It's like, okay, but this is going to culminate to something else, man. Be present with where you're at. That's what I'm getting out of this. Like just be present. Like let it be for a fair moment. Like, just like, let it ruminate.
And the more we do that as individuals, again, I think, back to us talking about needing to fulfill a longer table because people are ready to receive and celebrate the culmination of who you are. People are around, right? We're ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I love celebrating people. I really do. Like I geek out on that.
Absolutely. and I think it's and it's not an easy feat either, right? I mean, there are only 24 hours in a day. And so I really,
does that mean only 24 people a day? No,
I mean,
could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I would never get through it. I'd have to live to be 125. But I do think, again, because we are so hypersensitive to so many things around us now, because, things are volatile. And, when things hurt, we need and we want love. And when it is radiating off of someone, I think it's also important to remember that we can receive that.
Yeah, 100% we can receive it.
Yeah.
Get down with your bad self.
Right. And love other people.
And love other people. It's just like going to bring me right into it. Oh my gosh, it's going to bring me right into a song. Have you listened to any of the podcast?
I actually saw the one with Gigi.
Okay. So I have this thing with songs. Oh, I don't think I asked G that. Probably, that's so weird. I didn't. Anyway, I've asked every guest, like, before the show, like, what's your favorite song? Or do you have a song you jam to? Is there something you think about? And yours is...
Hands clap.
I can make your hands clap. I'm just curious why. Like, I geek out. I love music so much. So why?
Oh, I love...
Because it's got a great beat?
Yeah. I love fits and tantrums. I love I think, probably stems from my being a cook and just needing like high energy music. So you're just like, okay, I'm not cutting onions. I'm cutting onions, kind of situation. That's probably, where the fast
Stuff flying off a board.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Right. So I think that's where that stemmed from. But I also, look at our friend Remy.
I know. So Remy's
high energy.
I know. The poodle's sharking around the studio.
But yeah, I think hands clap is a good one for me because I really do feel, especially now as an educator, it's my job to hand clap for who I'm around.
Dude,
because
stop it.
It is. It's my absolute job to do that.
I love that. That's like a full circle. Okay. So do your students all know that you work with, that you played volleyball in China? Like, what the hell?
I'm pretty sure, like, of the people I know in my world, maybe only 50% of people know that. And those are the volleyball people.
Okay, well, now everybody knows because we're going to send this out to everyone in the whole Very Good Foundation so they can learn a bit more about you.
It's a wild thing. And, I have a huge respect for, athletes because that's how I grew up.
Was that professional?
It was. I never played professional. I did play in college, and then this China trip was a goodwill tour trip, actually back to like our home village where most of the San Franciscan Chinese population is from.
What's that village?
It's called Toisan.
Toisan?
In southern China.
Did I say it right?
Yep, you said it right. Yeah. Okay. So we got to go back. We played on like a dirt court with like concrete like stadium seating. The whole town came.
Now. How old were you?
I was 28.
Like in your 20s?
Mid-20s.
This was with Davis?
It was just after I graduated from Davis. So it was like a goodwill trip with a few teammates and lifelong friends of mine from San Francisco and the volleyball community.
Gosh, that is so...
It was wild.
So can I just ask what your favorite dish was while you were there? I just have to know.
Yes, you have. Oh, hands down. The dim sum there was top notch. You wouldn't believe it. The cart was 4 times the length of this table right here. 4 times.
So it was basically like a 12-foot table.
It was a 12-foot dim sum cart with every single item you could imagine. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Well, that'll get you to play volleyball, Chef. There we go.
Yeah.
So if you could interview anyone, who would it be? Like if you could just like have a podcast or be on a podcast with absolutely anyone in your life, who would it be?
I gotta say, I would want to chat with my my maternal grandfather. So he was alive for I think maybe 5 or 6 years. We crossed over 5 or 6 years together, but I was young. I was a little kindergartner, first grader, and I just didn't. There's a language barrier. I didn't speak full Cantonese, and his health was declining then. But my mom has so many stories because he was a cook about how his fried chicken knocked it out of the park, about how he fed, his 6 children, solo while my grandmother was out working her job. And they actually crossed over together in hospitality, she as a server and him as a cook at one place in San Francisco. But like, I would love to hear that kind of, know more about my lineage in hospitality and what
Yeah.
that was like. And, I never had the chance to write down those sacred recipes or even just hear about techniques. So he'd be the one. My gung is who I would have
I love
interviewed.
that so much. I would have to say the same. I didn't get to meet my grandfather, Louis. He was a chef too, but that's really special. But I feel like even though you didn't get to write down those recipes, that you're making your own now.
Thank you. Yeah,
You really are.
it's a feeling, right? It just, and I am so lucky though that I got those stories and have heard about those inspirations through my mom, who is my best friend.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And that outfit, for those that are listening and not watching, Chef's got a jumpsuit on that has turnips, sweet peas, mushrooms.
I do.
Corn.
Am I in
lettuce.
season, Chef? Am I in season?
Oh my gosh. You're so in season. Oh my gosh, there's that Valley girl. I hate it when I do that.
I love it.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
I'm glad you love it. You hold space for my Valley girl.
That's right.
I do want to just end with something you reminded me of. You shared with me, it's around the table and in the preparation of food, we learn about ourselves and about the world from Miss Alice Waters. And I want to thank you for bringing that to the table today, man.
That's so good.
It's been really
the feeling
good.
is mutual.
It's been real. What a bite. And 45 minutes goes by really fast, y'all. Everyone listening, any last words you want to drop?
I will. I'm going to take one right from Ratatouille, and it's anyone can cook.
Yeah.
Get out there, be excited, cook.
Amen to that. And thank you, Chef, for reminding us that food isn't about just what's on the plate. It's about where it comes from, who grows it, how we share it, from farm to fork, and this story today that really connects us all. So thank you so much for being here. And Remy, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you both. Love you, Chef.
Thank you. Love you right back. So fam, remember, every meal shared is a conversation started. This is Chef Leah Delight DiBernardo with Chef Christina Ng.
That's it.
I said it right.
You said it right.
And we're signing off. Have a wonderful week and take care of yourself and someone else, because why not? Every meal shared is a conversation started. I want to thank our guest today, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. It means a lot to all of us. You can find us on Instagram at The Table with Leah and anywhere you listen to your podcast. At the Table is produced by the very mighty Studio 215. Programming manager, Nate Marriott, our awesome studio manager, Brian Umali, and the gorgeous show producer, Miss Mari Fuentes. Thanks for being here.